Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today we're back with an opinion video, and this is about the prices of film. I made a couple different videos between Kodak raising prices, between what's going to happen with the future of film, blah, blah, blah. This one's going to be about something I read on forums, Reddits, groups, Facebook pages, and so on. Film prices are going so high, they're going to not buy film, and then they'll lower the price. Let's go there. Will film ever go down in price? So for that, we have to think about 10, 15, 20 years ago in prices of film. Prices of film were basically film was the only choice. Manufacturers would make film. They had all kinds of humongous factories and little universes of worlds of film production, like Rochester or ACFA or Ilford or whatever you want to call it, Fuji, and so on. And they would be making film, and this was hotcakes. It was so easy. It was just cheap to produce because they had masses of film to produce, and they were just selling it to people with a markup of a pretty big amount, and then basically cashing in, being really, really good companies and good business. Comes digital, crashes, film maintains itself mostly available to everybody. So when that happened, obviously, if you have a market and you see it shrinking, you start fighting against your competitors and you go prices down and you keep prices, and there's less demand. There's the same capacity to make things with workers, which you have to cut down, that be it bankruptcy, be it Chapter 11, be it whatever. And you continue to keep like that market, and you're like, oh my God, I can't raise prices, obviously, because there are people already looking at these digital cameras, this new technology, I got to keep on making film if I can. And they're seeing Fuji and Kodak are fighting each other in prices in the US market and this and so on. So prices kind of are quite stable throughout years. Of course, there's different films that are starting to get discontinued, be it tungsten film, which is something that now with digital cameras, you can change the white balance on camera each shot. You don't have to change every roll. And stuff like that get discontinued. Special formula slide film from Kodak died, Polaroid died, then came back with Impossible Project, so on. So the prices kind of were stable. Obviously, as film cameras dropped in price and film prices were quite affordable back then, people just kept shooting. Those hardcore aficionados like me suddenly were like, oh my God, a Hasselblad is like $600. I'm going to buy one. And then, ooh, Portra is like $2 and you buy some or whatever. Prices like that. I bought Acros 100 for $2 in Adorama, like brand new. I bought a brick of 100 rolls. And you keep on shooting film, and as things went by, people started picking up film and being like, oh, digital is great, but like everything is digital nowadays. Film is so cool. Either you're coming back to film or you're new and you're getting into film. And the demand grows. But they've already gone down in manufacturing power, in know-how, in investments, and they're keeping everything in cruise control as little, like don't touch the machine, don't invest any money on new engineers, don't invest any money on new things. Something breaks, just fix it, but we're not paying for new stuff. So they're kind of like losing money, but kind of keeping it super flat. And suddenly, more demand. Suddenly, more demand. Suddenly, more demand. And what happens? Film is cool, cameras are really cool, film cameras especially, and there's, film resurgence, which is what we're hearing nowadays. I remember the film is not dead. I mean, that was a hashtag for a decade. And basically, then Kodak and Ilford and everybody is like, okay, I guess we can bump the price a little higher and maybe start not losing money pretty much, maybe even making some money. And they bump the price a little bit, and people still demand and demand and demand and bump a little price again and demand and demand. Obviously, in this time, we have the cost of living, inflation, we have the cost of basically everything, and everything's going up. So you have to adjust. This year's crazy. 2022 is like 7% inflation, but let's say other years like 2-3 points. So things are going up. So film is going up, and it's still pretty much breaking even probably for them, but they're starting to have such demand and problems with procuring the film that they have to maybe start investing again in new machines, new conversions, new all these things, and they need money for that. But there's this big demand, there's growing, and let's talk about it. Big demand in 2020 is like what only, I don't know how to say it, like only 10-year-olds were shooting in 1990. Okay, it's like this big compared to the big spectrum. But there's bigger demand. Like 400% more than 1% is a lot, but 400% more than what it used to be 100% would be crazy. We're at 400% of what 1% of before was. And when they see this demand, they start pushing prices higher to basically reinvest and also make money. Remember, these companies are companies which need to make money, have shareholders, they have, factories, they have all these things that they have to invest and keep upkeep so there's future. And also investigation. We're always complaining about, hey, why is Kodak not making another film? Why is Ilford basically kept their line of film except for ortho and not really done anything new and so on. But they're also fighting the fact that there's new laws that maybe don't let you use certain components. So your Portra from today is different than Portra 10 years ago. Same with Ilford Hp5 is different today's version than 10 years ago. There's new laws and things, and there are investigating. There's a team of people in these companies all the time making formulations of like, okay, we can't use benzene anymore. We can't use this stuff that's bad for the environment and so on. So they're keeping that stuff. But the price has gone up, and the demand is still high. People say that Kodak's not making film, so the prices keep on going up, and there's like, this feeling of like there's no film. But Kodak is nonstop trying to make as much film as they can, but the moment it hits the stores, it flies out the shelf. I work at a camera store. Basically, the moment we receive stock, it kind of flies. But people buy 30 rolls, 40 rolls, 50 rolls. It's crazy. And some people do buy 1 roll or 2 rolls because it is expensive. But the film prices keep on going high. What's going to happen, let's say now in 2022, companies that make film are quite fragile. Ilford, Kodak, Adox, Ferrani, I guess we can name them there, Orwo, they're quite fragile. Fragile in what sense? In the sense that they are still kind of like not really making a ton of money. They don't have a war chest like they say here in Finland, like money for whenever the, things go really bad. We have a recession, so they're kind of there, and probably some have more than others. Don't get this into like a problem, but they're keeping what they can and pushing the prices when they need to. Obviously, they don't want to lose market. They want to keep on having market, but they also want to keep on investing to new things. And what would happen today if, let's say, we all snapped our fingers and stopped buying film for a month? Well, that would happen is prices would maybe momentarily go down. But these brands are not going to be able to sustain another bankruptcy, another restructuring, another let's notch it down and stop producing this film for this much time or whatever. These factories are not easy to just turn on and off. It's not like a light bulb. You have to like have a flow of film going through the machines. And I worked in production, and I know exactly what it is. When you take a month holiday, nothing works when you come back. So these things are like that. So if we stopped buying film, or if the demand goes down substantially, these companies would probably just shut down. And I mean, absolutely shut down. So when you go ahead and say, I hope they stop making like this, they're taking our money and they're buying yachts and stuff like that. Obviously, they're companies. The owner should maybe, buy a nice car if they've got money, just like you would if you're a doctor and you're making lots of money. But what we have to understand is if we stop buying film, they're going to stop making it. And we have to just assume and maybe change our perspective on shooting film. Maybe it's something that's a luxury, just like a bottle of wine in a nice restaurant. You don't have that every day. Maybe you have to start taking it every now and then on a special occasion. I shoot film. Obviously, I have a film YouTube channel. Sometimes I don't even have to pay for film because Kodak sends me some film or Ilford sends me some film, but I mostly buy most of my film. And I still have to shoot in special occasions. I don't shoot everything with film. I have my phone. I sometimes don't even take pictures, and I moderate my use, and I don't shoot. And for example, 8x10 color film, I don't shoot it anymore because I can't afford it. 11x14, which is another format I shoot, I only shoot black and white because color film is astronomical. And if I ever would buy, I would buy one box and be like, okay, this is a super special occasion, I'll shoot this. So we have to maybe do that. And obviously it hurts to change your habits because a price of something you love is going up and maybe you can't do it all the time. But it's better to have a higher price and keep on having availability than to have no product. And I put this box of FP100C kind of in that box. And this was Fuji making, okay? Fuji just discontinued it. When this was made, it was $8. $8 for this box, $8.25, $8.50, I think, in B&H. That was 85 cents per shot. This today sells for more than 80, and people are still buying it like crazy. If you right now found a stash of 1,000 of these boxes, you basically could buy a house with that money. But this is the thing, like Fuji just killed it. But Fuji is one of those companies that many times hasn't tried to adjust and then, if not, discontinue. They have other businesses, they're very successful, and they don't need to do that. They can just be like, you know what, that has no future. It's like 0.01% of our company. Just cut off that little arm that's not doing well, and let's keep on going. So that's the problem. But the other companies like Kodak, companies like Ilford, companies like Adox and Orwo and whoever you want to name, are trying to make this film for everybody. And it's pretty much 100% of their business model. So if we stop, they'll close, and that will be it. So yeah, I don't think prices will go down. I don't think we will see a major adjustment. Maybe if Kodak decided to come out with a cheaper stock film of any kind, be it, I don't know, bring Color Plus to 8x10, and that would be a bit more affordable than Portra. Maybe it's possible, but I don't think that's going to happen so often. I don't think Ilford is going to come out with a third of a price HP5 that's going to be HP, I don't know, 1, and you can buy it, because that would murder their own line. So they're trying their best to make everything. And I think as consumers, we obviously can criticize all we want, we can speculate all we want, but they're trying to keep a product. They're companies, they don't want to go bankrupt, and they need to reinvest. That's a very important topic, is they need to reinvest. So for that, they need some money, and they need some extra headroom. It can't be a month-to-month paycheck kind of thing. So yeah, that's an opinion video. As usual, I'll leave the link below to Patreon and PayPal if you feel like supporting me making these kind of videos, talking about these kind of topics. I'm very happy to do so. And also leave a comment below what you think. I know this is kind of a polarizing topic, but I think it's interesting to talk about issues that are, we have in the film community. Because I do want more film, I want more players, I want more people shooting film. I obviously want cheaper film, but it's not so simple as like, just make it cheaper because we want it, we deserve it. It's not so simple. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Bye.